Hello, after the recent alert that was sent to Hawaii to all the residents there, telling them that there was a ballistic nuclear missile on the way, it is brought to my attention that this is a real threat and people need to know how to prepare. Now, it could be that the American government are using it to prepare people that this eventuality might happen, so that they will get prepared. So I'm just going to show you some of the things, what you can do to start getting prepared in case a disaster happens, such as war or a flood or other disaster that might fall your way. Pray that it doesn't, but it's always best to be prepared. I started gathering these items around 5 years ago, and they're stored in a box in the garage, and they're there when I need them. If I ever needed to get out quickly, I would just take the box and stick it in the boot of the car, and it's always there. I always know it's there in case I ever need it. So it's always best to prepare a box like this. And with that alert, I started to look at the things I had in the box to check it was all in date, and I've just found that a lot of these things are out of date now, so I'm going to have to replenish some of these items. But I just want to show you some of the items that I've gathered. I'll start telling you about this water filter. I bought this water filter online, and if you're ever in a situation where you have to leave your home and go to the hills, and you have to drink the water that's in the streams, and this is a filter that you can use to filter out the water, and rainwater or river water, and you're able to drink it. It's not drinkable unless you use a filter like this. And I also bought some purification tablets, these ones. If ever a disaster happens, I'm hoping it's only going to be less than a week, because I think most of these items will probably only last me a week. But in the case of, say, a nuclear event, if there was a nuclear attack and you had to get away from the city you were in and you ran to the hills, a week later the nuclear fallout will be a lot less. You have a bigger chance of survival. So it might be worth packing enough items to take, even just for a week, because by then the fallout might have lessened so much that, although it might affect your health, it might not be a real threat to your health. So being prepared is a good option. So these water purification tablets, you just dissolve them in the water and it purifies them. Sometimes with a disaster you might lose power, it might be wiped out completely, so I bought this windy up radio. I'll just show you what it is here. It's a radio that doesn't need batteries, and it's also a torch. To switch the torch on, you just turn this little lever here, like that, and it makes a light. It's not a big light, but you'll be able to find your way in the dark with it. And the radio, switch it on.
FM, traffic and travel. With Arnold Clark. Get that new car feeling in the real sale. Get updates and push notifications 24/7 by downloading the...
So that's quite a good little radio, and no battery, so all you do is you just wind it up like this. So that's how it gets the power. So I'll just put that back away. Because if you lose power, you might want to keep up to date with what the emergency services are trying to advise you to do. So it's always best to have a wind-up radio, just in case there's no access to power. Lighters. We're not all skilled at lighting fires with wood or flint, so having some lighters, be prepared, just in case you ever do need to light a fire to keep you and your family warm. I've bought another lighter here as well. And fuel wise, I've also bought these fire lighters, which can help to get a fire going if you ever need to do that. So magnifying glass you can actually use to make a fire, but you can also use it for other reasons that you might need to use it for. I can't think of one at the minute, but I'm sure it'll come in handy if you ever need to use it. A thermometer, test the thermometer, the temperature where you are. And I've got this box of candles, so there's quite a lot of candles here that will last quite a bit of time if there was ever a blackout. This little kit here, this is like a little like a penknife type kit that might come in handy. Clothesline, washing line. You never know if you need to build shelter, it might come in handy for that, or if you need to scale down something, like you scale down a hill or something, or a wall, you might need it for that. Needle and thread could come in handy if something rips, or if you want to build some kind of shelter. Some thread as well, just in case you ever need it. Hammer. You never know when you need a hammer. You might even need to use it in self-defense if it gets bad and people start attacking other people for the belongings that they've got. You don't know what's going to happen in circumstances like that. And here's some bigger needles that you can use to like thread thicker vine, or if you needed to like sort of make a hammock or something like that. Rehydration treatment. Now this is if you get diarrhea, which could happen if you haven't got any water purification tablets, if you ran out or the filters disappeared. You could use these. If you have diarrhea, it's important to get the salts back into your body, so you just mix these with water. And these tablets are for diarrhea, to stop diarrhea, in fact. If it gets bad, you don't want to lose a lot of water by having diarrhea, so in emergencies you might want to use this. In emergency situations, that means if there's no doctor that you can get advice from during a disaster, that is. These are windproof, waterproof matches in case the lighters fail to work, and I haven't tried them yet, but they have expired now, so I'm going to have to get some more if I need them. I've got the lighters. I'm thinking, do I really need waterproof matches? I don't know, so I'm having to think about that at the moment. Other medication you might need, these are for constipation. If you get dehydrated, you might get constipated, and if your bowel gets blocked, that can be dangerous. So, but that's just one medication. You need to have a supply of your own medication, whatever medication you're on. You might be on inhalers, you might be on blood pressure tablets, heart tablets. Whatever medication you're on, you should have a stock of it ready to take with you in emergencies. Keep it in a plastic Tupperware box, just in case you want to protect it from the water and rain and things. Paracetamol, in case you get pain, or other painkillers that you normally take. These are antihistamines for allergies, you might need those. Vennies for indigestion, you never know. Oops. This is tin foil, it's got many uses. You can use it to preserve food, you can use it to reflect heat, you can use it to stop heat escaping, you can use it as an emergency signal because it's reflective. So tin foil is a good thing to have in an emergency kit. Some tape, in case you need to tape any kind of like if you're making a tent or something like that, tape could come in handy for something. You never know when you might need it. Scissors. You never know when you might need the scissors. It's always best to keep some just in case. This is another torch. So, oh, you might be thinking, oh, she's going to extremes now, but you never know. If you're in the middle of the woods and you want to make a shelter and if you haven't got a saw, you'd be wishing you had one. So it's just another way to be prepared. I might never get used. I might one day, you don't know. So a saw might be a good thing to have. A whistle to try and get people to know where you are. If you were like, you couldn't reach them and you wanted to sound an alarm so they know where you are, you could have a whistle. You could also have one each for each member of the family, and then you could signal to each other if there was no phones to use, if there was no signals and things like that. And this whistle has also got like a compass on the top. Get out there like a compass so you can find your way. Some pliers, you never know when they come in handy. These are an old pair of pliers, but it doesn't really matter how old they are as long as they work. Now food. These cereal bars, they've usually got a long expiry date on them. It's worth checking, you know, when you next goes to the supermarket, if you check the expiry dates on them. And if they're like expiring, say, a couple of years, then you know at least you've got them for a couple of years. But these ones have expired now, 2013. Yeah, that just shows you how long I've had this pack ready. So these will have to be thrown out now. I'll have to buy some more. So cereal bars, tinned food, baked beans. This food you can eat cold or hot. Spaghetti bolognese. So if you haven't got any means to cook it, you can still eat. These are like ration foods. There's lots of calories in one bar. Protein, just 5 grams of protein, but there's a lot of fat in there to keep you warm and to help you get the calories you need. And there's also vitamins, a few vitamins in there. There's 9 bars in this pack, but guess what, they've expired, so these will have to be thrown away now. Even things like biscuits, they can last you a long time if you look at the expiry date on them. So these expired in 2013 as well. So this box that's been in the garage all these years is it's out of date now. So I can get rid of most of these foodstuffs in here. And get some more simple things like shampoo, which you could also use as like a soap if you haven't got any soap. Some more packed food here. This food is lasts a long time. You don't really need to cook this, it's already cooked inside the bag. And these ready meals here, this 215 calories in one of these, and these are used for weight control, but they have got a lot of vitamins and nutrients in them, and they're easy to pack and they last a long time. and these expired in 2013 as well. And so food stuff, drink, you can buy bottled water. I've got some big bottles of bottled water in the garage, and I've also got some 2 litre bottles of pop. And if you're not one for drinking water, you can buy bottles of pop to keep with you. Things to drink out of, like plastic cups and things to eat with, plastic knives and forks, easy to carry, they're light. And a drinks flask thing. Toothbrushes, toothpaste, antibacterial hand wash. The list goes on and on, really, what you can take with you. I also store this. It's inflatable Milo. In case there's a flood, you can blow it up and you can float, but it might wash out to sea, so you need to be careful with that. What else have I got here? Plasters, in case you cut yourself. A mirror, in case you need to send SOS messages to helicopters or aeroplanes in the sky. And this old map book, which never gets used anymore, because sat-navs, who uses map books anymore? But in emergencies, you might not be able to use a sat-nav, the signal might be lost, or you might not have the power to operate one. So having a map as well in the box is another good idea. So that's just some of the things you should take with you when you leave to go somewhere if you're in the middle of a disaster. But these vitamins as well, in case you haven't got enough food, at least you're going to get your vitamins. But what's more important is water. You can only live for a few days without water, but you can live a few weeks without food. So water is the important thing, and you need to have enough water for all of you to last for a week. So that's a lot of water that you have to store, and that also needs to be in date as well. So I hope this video has helped you to think about how to prepare your box, your emergency box, for in case of an emergency. I hope it never happens, and just keep checking it as well. Make sure the food's not out of date like I've just found, and hope everything is okay and you don't need to use it. But I hope it's helped show you the sort of things that you might need in case it ever did happen, God forbid. Okay, take care, please subscribe to my videos, and I'll speak to you next time.